Okay, everybody, we're going to paint the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Fighter. First thing you want to do, grab out your paints and desired colors you wish your miniature to be. That goes for his boots, his pants, skin tone, armament, and also goes to show that there is a lot of detail. Now don't let that stop you. Just basically what you want to do is pick out the colors you like for that miniature. Now this will be a little bit difficult for me, so it's the first time doing this, but I am professional enough here. So let's get started. Grab the colors and paints you like, and then we'll start. Alright, let me pause the video for a moment here, and I'll get started with the colors. Okay, now we're back. What you're going to need is your little water dish here. Just place it anywhere, doesn't matter, as long as it's not in the way of the miniature. And now we see that he has a lot of flesh parts. So what we want to do is we want to do a wash first, a quick wash, and cover the entire miniature with that wash. Now what I'm going to use is for a Citadel product. Okay. And this is a quick shade. We're going to use crimson. I don't know how they pronounce that. It's cardboard crimson. What this wash will do is go all over and shade the miniature for his flesh tones. Now it's got a little purpley tint to it, which is okay. You want that pigment. If you're looking at our skin tone flesh, you'll notice we have some reds in there. This is just an underwash anyway. So we're going to go over the flesh tones with this color first. Shake up the bottle a little bit. Now we can see the miniature there. Now I have a piece of paper I paint on before I apply to the miniature. This is so I can thin down the paint with the water. You might not see me do that, but you'll get the gist in a moment here. Okay. Perfect. Now we can apply it to the character. We're just going to use his flesh shades all over his skin. Wherever his skin is. It doesn't matter if you get it on the armament or not. We're just going over the areas that will be hard to reach later on with this product. Actually, because his skin is basically part of his armor, we're just going to pop that everywhere almost. It's a little hard to reach areas. It's okay if it gets everywhere. The idea is we just kind of want the raised air, it goes into all the recesses. Because he's a fantasy character, I kind of like the purple undertone anyway. Notice I did not use a lot or glob it on. We just want a good, nice highlight undertone. See a better view of it. See what that does is it already brings out his skin tone and pigment. Basically his skin's basically done almost. And you can see all the details better too. So it's good to just go over these little areas with this. Kind of just dab it with the brush. This will pick up the shoes, little cracks and crevices. And there's little handbags. That way there will be no white underneath because it looks hideous if you see white underneath. Now a lot of people were saying, why don't you paint the base coats first? That's because his skin is one of the most important pop outs on this particular miniature, this fighter. So I like to use a little bit of a wash to get started with him. And there we go. Let me pause the video and we'll go over layering a little bit with a base coat, picking out his armaments. Okay, what I'm going to do now is a little bit of brown, mixture of white. Make sure you get a good mix going before you get that skin tone down. You don't want it too light. You have to have them a little bit dirtied. So we gotta get a nice mixture going here. And use the water a little bit to thin it down. Now I'm using a little bit of a detailed brush here. A little bit thinner, smaller brush. Don't be afraid of a longer brush sometimes. And I'm just going to slightly go over his face area. Going in a downward stroke. I'm going to go all over his skin tones. The reason why I'm doing the skin first, again, is not to hit the armored parts. And you can be a little bit sloppy here, it's okay. It's nothing wrong. It's you're painting your first miniature probably, and you just want a little tutorial to help you go with a long way. There we go. Getting that little neck under there. Try not to. This is why we thin it down with water, so we still get the facial features here. Okay. I know this is not the best camera, but we're just trying something out. I'm just trying to put it all on my camera phone here, and we're just trying to get a good idea of how to paint a miniature step by step using a little technique. I like to paint the skin first before I do any of the cloth and armaments and anything underneath, like such as his khakis or pants. You want to paint first because you can't get under there later, and you want to use any area that is underneath first before you paint the area on top. Now, this guy has a lot of detail, but don't be afraid of that, because you're not going to paint every single detail, but you're going to get enough in there to where you could get in the little crevices here. And there you go. And we got his base coat skin done. Let's see if we can give a better view over here. Here we go. Now we pause the video here, and we'll start with the next piece of area, which is the pants. Okay, we're back. Now I don't know if you could read this or not, but this is a citadel. It's a layered doom ball. Instead of using it as a layer, I want to use it as a good base color for his pants, just because it's a nice dark color. And again, we're going to shake up the bottle. Pop the little cap here. Put a little bit on the paper. Water it down just a little bit. You don't want it too thick. A lot of people put a lot of color on real thick. So now we're going to pick out his pants. Now it might block the video there. Again, this is another color you don't want to put on thick. You just want to put it on. You can still be sloppy here. We're not getting into any of the details yet. But all underneath. Use this color all underneath. Sorry if I blocked the view there on the camera, but sometimes we can't see underneath. So what we do is we'll turn it a certain way to see the underneath. There we go. And then just getting those pants down. Now this is okay color to use over chainmail a little bit. The reason why brown, after you dry brush a silver color over brown, gives that chain a weathered look. And all you're really doing is you're just going over the little crevices with this color here. Okay, we're going to pause the video for the next part. I'll touch up a little areas so we can see it a little better. But we're just getting the idea of the color being applied and how it works. Okay, now that we got all the undercoats, his undergarments and everything with that brown, let's see if we can get a little closer picture of it. We even got his little weapon here, his arrow bag, his knapsack, and his bow and arrow. That is all painted brown, including his shoes. And the next step, what we're going to do is we want that color to be highlighted and to bring it out. Now, I'm going to use another wash. The reason why we're using the wash is because we're going to show you that it can look really cool. And you don't have to, and again, he's a fantasy character.